The stream then. So that's up.
I turn that on. Is that gonna help? That's the question. Perhaps. Okay. Now turn you off. Let's go here and do this. All right. I gotta get Chrome open.
He's Smashy. For your Tumblr link, do you have like a little like tagline / title for it?
Couldn't find one. Hang on.
You can make something up too.
What's the matter, Chester?
It's just I don't like having the URLs on the website, so I like a title.
I get done doing all the stuff for Facebook to post the link to the live show, and the image that comes up is 420 State of the Community.
It does. It's because Facebook is stupid. Okay.
Is it going to change?
It's probably not going to change on Facebook.
Okay, then I'm not putting an image.
There we go.
That's fine.
You mean just take the thumbnail off?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's problematic that way.
Okay, it's been sent out to the Book of Faces.
I'm wondering if I have to like start if I start the stream and then we post it, if it then changes to the current one, or if just Facebook is stupid or YouTube is stupid or something.
Facebook is stupid.
Well, it's not even pulling last week's, which is the odd thing. That's what I was expecting you to say, Chester, is it's pulling 422, not 420 or whatever, so. Maybe there's a hidden message in all this.
Don't know.
It's usually using a really old cache version. I don't know.
Minimize. What's this? Oh, turn that shit down. Okay. Close. 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 Watch now. I really would like Apple to like give me more control over notifications, because this stuff kind of gets annoying.
Apple giving control over anything? I used to do tech support for them. Now.
Well, it's just actually it's not probably even Apple. It's more the individuals that create the stuff.
Mm.
Steve, what's your Tumblr?
We'll go with smashythefloof.tumblr.com.
You're not going to come up in the auto tag. That's why. Okay, I'm all done.
And of course, Sigma is in the chat already. Yay. All right. I might actually do the intro right this time.
So you're cursing yourself ahead of time because
I'm not cursing myself. I'm just saying I might actually do it right. I said might.
Okay.
I
Okay.
didn't say I
jinxing.
was. I didn't say I was going to do it right. I said I might do it right.
Oh, that's a fair point. Hey, Steve, at the bottom of the contact information section, towards the bottom of the doc, there's a whole list of bullet points at the bottom one. There's one for you if you want. You don't have to provide anything. When we wrap up the show, we just say, like, hey, how people can find you, like, be it web address, email, nicknames you go by online, apps, that kind of stuff.
Where you can find your phone number at the local truck stop.
Oh, third stall to the left. Hang on.
Is that where yours is, Gary? Is that why you're laughing?
No, but I just, it's original enough. Like, I don't think anybody to date has said it, that it just...
I stole that from a drag queen back in 2002.
That's where hers
Actually, no.
was?
3.
Have to be so accurate for something that's been over a decade ago.
Well, knowing this queen, yeah. I mean, that was the joke in Ottawa was every queen had a title, to the point of, like, yeah, Miss Third Stall on the left.
Here.
Miss Third Stall on the left. Current fucking reigning.
Current fucking reigning. Oh, by the way, Sasha has already been referred to that way.
Really?
Yeah, I'm highly amused by it.
I love Sasha. I am so happy she won.
Yeah, I was just at it was the dinner. The Bears do dinner. We were having a conversation, and someone said they weren't caught up on our recap shows, and they wanted to know how I felt about the winner because they hadn't listened to the finale show that we did. So, and I said, actually, I'm quite pleased with the fact that she won, and that I somehow missed completely that the bitch is a Fulbright scholar. Like, most intelligent winner and or contestant to date. I was like, what the fuck? Like, how did that kind of not get mentioned in the show?
She's uber talented and smart.
Like, certified smart. I was like, whoa. I mean, she's no Gina Davis with Mensa, but, you know, give it time.
Going by everything I've seen from her on YouTube, I'm like, yeah, totally my fucking favorite. I wasn't sure. I was expecting Shay to win, honestly, but that lip sync on Shay's part was just tragic. Then again, so was the time she lip synced against Nina. I was expecting Rue to send both of them home.
Yeah, well, this year the finale with the lip sync stuff, you know, the literal lip sync, you know, death match, whatever you want to call it, to in the finale, set a whole. It wasn't. That's the disappointing part, but that's the problem I had with it. Is, like we said in the recap, 2 contestants appeared to be prepared, like had thought it through, came up with some like plans about no matter which of the 3 songs it is, like how you can incorporate some stuff, and then the other 2 seemed not to. Like, they were relying more, I guess, on their natural talent, so to speak, than flair. Let's put it that way. And so I found that very interesting because I think folks weren't ready. It came across that way. I'm not going to say they weren't ready. And I think Shay was surprisingly just doing what everyone thinks it is by words alone, meaning it's lip sync, you know, so you just lip sync it and you move around. But for a person who does dance, she didn't really do a whole lot of dance in her performing. That also kind of surprised me.
Yeah, but I mean that was also the same when she lip synced against Nina. Like, she was really underwhelming as a lip sync artist. I mean, she can dance, she can perform like comedy or acting, rap for the gods, but lip syncing is like the one thing it's like, it's there.
Sigma's got a lot of Tito's on hand. He's ready for today. I don't. The rest of us are.
He
Okay.
is at brunch. He's sitting down watching us.
Is he really?
I don't know. He's
Oh.
your friend.
Well, I thought he just posted on Facebook recently that he was at brunch, so I was confused. Go away. Go away. Go away. All right. What is? Oh, there's the thing for that. They finally sent it. All right. Chester, remind me after when we're off air about asking you about something regarding December. Let's just use that keyword.
I think I know what you're going to ask me. Is it something to do with an email you just received?
Maybe.
Okay.
What is all this shit? Go away. All right. Do we need anything else? Are we ready to start?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Oh. Hold on.
The producer is not ready.
Where should we insert the commercial? Here, where it says commercial. Play. There we go.
I was about to say, we only hired her because she's pretty, but... Oh, that's right. We didn't hire you.
I hired you.
Yeah, there's that.
All right. Should we do some bitch? Here we go. It's July 16th, 2017. I'm Jeff.
Who's your bear? That's right. I am your bear.
I'm Chester.
This room is a pigsty, and you're a dirty pig boy.
And that makes me Gary.
Don't hurt nobody with your bad self.
Welcome to Comes Out Loud, the Bear Podcast of Indeterminate Length, episode number 423. And I got it right this time. Aren't you proud of me?
Woo! Did. Congratulations.
I'd give you a cookie, but I ate them all.
Sure. Anyways, that reminds me, I got some Thin Mints in the freezer. Right now, Damon is off pitching tents and petting animals in nature. I don't know what that is.
He's hunting bears.
Means, so that's why he's not here. But we do have a special guest with us. Over to Gary's left is Smashy.
Hi.
Right there.
And the audience.
The crowd goes
loves it.
wild.
Okay. Ah! You were supposed to stop at that point in time.
They just don't shut up.
I know, right? So we got some interesting stuff to talk about today, but first, we need to find out this from the Four Non-Blondes. I still tell you that sounds so much like Cher, so that's why I thought
You know what? You were doing really good, Jeff. You were starting to redeem some points until you brought her name up. So, and that ain't hating
I'm
on the goddess. I'm
explaining.
just saying.
I'm just explaining why I made that mistake previously. It sounds like Cher. Anyways. In any case, other people's vacations suck. And I say that because our braid team, we had somebody move. We had people going to Nutacular, and that means less people were there for raiding. Also, one of our raid leaders is going on vacation again this week. We also have another, well, he's not commonly there that often, so him going on vacation really doesn't matter at all. But there's just so many vacations during the summer, which means, hey, we're gonna jump into the new raid and we're gonna push on and we're gonna beat all the other teams. Yeah, no, because not everybody's here, which means that our progression is lacking. But if anything, we're down to the last boss of normal, so hopefully we'll be getting into heroics soonly here. So that's kind of what's been going on. Also, I finally went to the supermercado, which is like a block away from me, and found they have some stuff that I could have, but it's missing quite a few things. So it's like in a pinch, if I need some more butter or some quick milk or some, I just ran a cereal when I have grab some Honey Nut Cheerios or something, I can pop over there instead of like driving to the H-E-B. But H-E-B just has everything I need, so slight disappointment.
Does it have a little restaurant in it where you can go up and get tacos and stuff?
I think so. I didn't explore that part very much because I was just there to pick up some groceries. So.
Okay, because the one that I go to in Minneapolis has like a full restaurant in there, and they've got amazing breakfast burritos.
I might call it a full restaurant, but they've got like booth chairs and a little thing with the next to the bakery. So I think they do. I didn't really explore it, so. But yes, and this is also Texas, so breakfast tacos.
Breakfast tacos.
Chester, what's going on with you?
Packing. Still, I do a couple boxes here and there, and I'm anal retentive. I'm one of these days, as soon as I get most of the stuff ready to go in the garage, I'm going to snap a picture of it because you will see how anal retentive I am about packing and moving.
So, Chester, the question begs, what you packing?
Belongings? The dress I was going to wear for the final episode.
It was a little better. I was like kind of the, how's your head? I was expecting you to be like, but we'll work on it.
Or, that's what Tumblr's for.
Yes, exactly. Been playing lots of Pokemon Go lately because they introduced a new gym battle with a raid system. So I've been going out every day playing that for a little bit. And just last week was the 1-year anniversary, which I'm sure everybody remembers how Facebook blew up with everybody posting about Pokemon Go. We even did a show about it, actually. So yeah, I've been doing that. Oh, and this weekend is D23 in Anaheim, California. D23 is the Disney convention that I go to, and this is the first time I'm missing it. And I'm really super bummed because people keep sending me messages. Hey, have you seen this? Do you know about this happening? I'm like, I'm keeping up with it. Like, I've got my Twitter is blowing up with all sorts of different people that I am engaged with that post new things that are Disney related. So I'm aware of what's going on. It sucks that I'm not there to see it in person because that's one of the best things for me to do there is to sit there in the audience, and when somebody comes out and reveals what they're going to do and just hearing the crowd get so excited. I don't get that when I'm sitting at home reading about it on Twitter. But Gary, how about you?
I want to apologize formally, Chester, to you publicly about how I reached out and was like, "Hey, are you aware of this?" So,
no, I don't get upset that people do that. I appreciate that people know me well enough that when something like that happens, that they think of me. like with you and seeing the Kingdom Hearts 3 stuff come up, knowing that I'm a fan and reaching out to me, hey, did you see this? I appreciate it. But at the same time, it's like, well, of course I've seen it. I follow it religiously.
Right, but we don't know that, and I hadn't seen you post about it, which is what made me wonder. Like, I wonder if you saw this or not, because if I'm not mistaken, you have ink on your body, because that's how serious you are about. Yeah.
I've been that way. Yes.
Yeah. So, I'm not familiar with the game that much, but I find it very interesting what they've decided to do with it. So.
It's going to be some new twists. I'm excited about the stuff that's coming.
Well, cool. For me, the workflow is almost overwhelming, but not quite. So I'm keeping my head above water, but I'm not sure how this will go. A new project has come my way over the past couple weeks, and it wasn't until this week did I realize quite what the volume was of what I have to do and the deadlines that I'm dealing with. So it also was decided-ish the last day of last week for work. Well, if the official last day, because I worked yesterday, I'm going to work again today, that I may be traveling next month. So sometimes that can be exciting, but in this case, it's sort of a necessity kind of issue. So we will see how that plays out. I don't know if I would say that this potential place is fun, because I'm going to the New England area, but we will find out more later if that's what happens. I'm technically the plan B. So I do curriculum, instructional design, development, basically. I rate training materials, but in this case, I may have to actually be the instructor or facilitator. And that's where it comes into I'm the plan B. We have a plan A, but it appears that I'm probably the better individual to do it in some people's opinions. So that's how this is suddenly turning into. Not only will I be putting it together, I may have to be the one that presents it. And I'm okay with it, but I still, no matter what, the deadline is a deadline. I have to get a lot of stuff done. Hence, I'm working through this weekend and probably next weekend and all that jazz. So that being said, that's pretty much overwhelming my world at the moment. So, Steve, what about you? First of all, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Happy to be here. So if you do go to New England, would you be, there once was a bear in Nantucket?
No, exactly, but
I had to go there. I had to. Okay. As for what's going on, very little happens for me because I'm basically stuck in this town called Kitchener, Ontario, and it's like Toronto is like an hour and a half away, 2 hours by bus. Explain that. So, but not a lot happens here. So yesterday, a friend and I went to the local Rib and Beer Fest. So you have the two of us kind of like just talking about, fetish, kink, and sex stuff while in line for, barbecue chicken. That was kind of bland. And the lines were long. There were some really hot guys and a lot of very annoying people. So that's been like the cultural epicenter of this town. And the problem with that, especially if I wanted to play Pokemon Go, which I really, really, really wanted to, is when you get so many people in one space. For some reason, my wireless provider kind of just sort of craps out data-wise. It's like I can't do a damn thing. I could barely send a photo over Messenger. So that's been one of the most interesting things that's happened. Otherwise, I've basically been looking for work and sitting in my apartment.
Aww. I feel your pain.
So about this Rib Fest, I want to make sure I got this right. So you're standing in line with a friend, having a talk about being a pig, and you're possibly about to eat some pig, but instead you got cock.
Yeah. Yes. Savory saucy cock.
Oh, well, saucy cock can be pretty good. It just depends.
Did you suck the meat off the bone?
Nice one.
It got forked.
But the question is, did you get it all over yourself? I mean, was it, on your face? Was it, all over your hands? Did you have to like sop up afterwards? I mean,
If they had any cornbread left, you're damn right I would have sopped up. But no, I just got a little bit on my fingers. What can I say? I eat cleanly when I'm going to be outside amongst people.
but inside you're like it's just complete mess fest or something.
Got a shower. It's fine.
Nice.
Wow.
And for those of you playing at home, that was a lovely volleyball of double entendre pervertedness going back and forth. But anyways.
What else does it show?
Now, whoever thought we'd be doing commercials?
I know I sure as heck didn't.
Being that we're a smaller scale podcast, we don't have advertisers knocking down our door to give us money, and that's okay.
Which is why we want to take a moment and tell you about two really great ways you can support Cubs Out Loud.
Over the past 9 years, COL has produced hundreds of audio episodes, and now we have matching video episodes for you to enjoy.
This year, we introduced the new COL logo and launched our new merch store over at Zazzle.com/CubsOutLoud.
Or you can also use the COL merchandise link on our podcast website to pull up the online store.
Here you can take a look through a range of products, including t-shirts, hats, poker chips, underwear, backpacks, and various other things with the COL logo on them.
And keep an eye out for new things to be added based on your interests and requests.
We typically can be found showing these great items off in the video stream of our shows.
Also, to help with our new format, we're doing YouTube video shows that help create the audio version. We have a GoFundMe campaign underway at gofundme.com/COLstream.
This campaign allows us to afford upgrading the PC that Jeff uses to produce our shows. Plus, a better computer means better quality streams.
And thanks in advance for not only listening to Cubs Out Loud, but helping support the podcasts too.
For you people,
Yay!
For you people who are watching the video show, all three of us flashed our Cubs Out Loud shirts. So I think is that the only stuff we got right now? Let's see. I'm looking at Chester right now. It kind of wants some sort of necklace thing, but I don't think that there's anything on there for a necklace, like a pendant. I don't know. Anyways.
They might have pet tags.
Huh. I'll have to look that up. In the meantime, let's get into this. Gary, what's been going on over in Facebook land?
Over in Facebook land, we got a new like, and we want to thank Alejandro Bear for liking us on Facebook. And now that I said Alejandro Bear, I feel like, is he like a Gaga mashup?
Yeah,
Anyway.
That's what I was thinking. That was my first thought, too.
Nice. In addition to that, we also have some comments/posts on Facebook. So Chess, a.k.a. Foxbear, commented on 419, "This is how we genetically roll." And he said, identification/description in app profiles may typically get reduced to top/bottom/versatile, but it doesn't take much to flesh things out and present a much more accurate picture of our preferences. For example, in mine, meaning Chess's, I had the following blurb on the subject for years. Quote, primarily dom/top, but will consider bottoming for suitably impressive alpha male types and or subbing for experienced leathermen. And that covers both fucking and perverted stuff. The biggest component is honest self-examination. Everything flows from there. So there you go. We also had Sigma Wolf's fashion forward pick. He posted that he got something from Zazzle.com. And so we appreciate him showing off those wares. And then Drew actually had an idea that he posted, which is an image about our Respect and Consent show, which had a nice little back and forth. So I'm not going to put all that. But if you go to our Facebook page for Cubs Out Loud, you'll be able to see those things as well. And that's what's going on Facebook.
We have just one new Twitter follower, COL423. But we do have two messages. The first one's from GBearTrucker65. Enjoying the conversation from the distinguished gentleman of At Cubs Out Loud podcasted episode 422, Place-Based Etiquette, Rainbow and Bear emojis aplenty. And then Rev Bear, who is DFTBA Paul on Twitter. He says, at Cubs Out Loud, just listen to the last two episodes. And at Fizz
Giggity
is my brother's girlfriend, and her handle is a combo Dark Crystal / Family Guy reference. So now I understand that.
So it's, yeah. So we got it right.
I've never seen Dark Crystal.
No, it's not about Dark Crystal.
Oh, God, get over yourselves.
We're going to fix that when you fucking move to Ohio, mister. But anyways,
how many
so...
ski gasp just now?
3 out of 4. So, no, it was... So the Fizz gig is from Dark Crystal. It's a animal, pet, whatever. And then Giggity obviously is from, Well, he's not technically a Muppet, but... Although,
and Chester, to be fair, I only watched the Dark Crystal like the first time I can remember, like 3 years ago.
My ex tried to get me to watch it like 15 years ago, and I remember going, "What the fuck is this?" and shut it off like 15 minutes into it. So yeah, good luck trying to get me to watch it again.
Anyways,
moving on. We have some Tumblr followers. Little Uno 76. Cubtastic 23. That can't be right. No, that is right. Ladicubtastic 23. Technologic, cute and handsome, gay bottom dating. I wonder what that Tumblr's about. Ursophile, Chub Love 1, The Empty Shell, Luna 120123, and Chubby Romeo. And lastly, I posted a picture of Evan in a COL t-shirt. And quite a lot of people liked it. And there were several people who, after I posted it, had said that they would like to get one, or they were planning on ordering one.
Yay!
Wait, okay, so for clarification, they wanted to order a COL t-shirt, or they wanted to order a boyfriend?
I don't know.
Because it come in a combo pack?
Fiery Biscuits does say, I'm going to get one of those t-shirts, so we've got...
Okay, that's true.
That's the straightforward one.
I believe Fiery is the only one who actually said,
okay,
I'm going to get a t-shirt. The rest of them said, I'm going to get one, or somebody else said, me too, he's adorable. So I don't know if they're referring to the shirt or if they're referring to Evan.
Speaking of, those photos, the outdoor shots that you got of Evan are just really, really awesome, Chester.
Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, this is one big, what I want to call shameless plug.
Anyways.
Chester's still thinking about it. He didn't get it. Never mind.
Yeah, but I didn't bring up the photos.
No. I'm talking about your boyfriend. Oh. It's another double entendre joke. We'll talk about it later. Anyways.
And then we also have some live listener feedback, and it was from our last episode. At the end of our recording, Sigma Wolf said, "Love to y'all, one of the few bright moments in my long week." I'm glad that we could do that for you.
Aww.
So thank you for watching.
Also, we have some YouTube subscribers. We have Dakota Green and Tibiero Bond. I think that's how it's pronounced. So, normally it's Steven's job, but hey, he's not here. He's dealing with wild bears. Anyways,
He's trying to glamp it up, so.
So it sounds like we got a good thing, but let's get right into the topic. Gary?
Yeah, so this one is sort of a departure for us over the past probably year to 2 years-ish. We're kind of on trend. Ooh, that doesn't really sound good. What I'm trying to say is what we're about to discuss is something very short
Current
time past current, as opposed to weeks, months later we get around to discussing something. But the reason we have our special guest on, Smashy, is with us because he created something that relates to what this topic is. So as of a couple days ago, we were going to do something different, and that is getting moved to later in the year. And so we kind of didn't have a topic, and I was like, okay, so we're going to have a non-topic show or something. And then all of a sudden it hit me when I saw a post actually from Chess on Facebook, I think it was originally. And then I was like, there's a thing. So hence today's show is called PSA, Get a Lucky Buddy. So why don't we kind of work this backwards a little bit? And Smashy, if you're okay explaining what you made or what you created, and then we'll kind of explain a little bit about what prompted that.
Okay, gladly. A couple nights ago, I put together a poster with a number of tips on, I want to say, safer hookups. And I don't mean like safer sex. I mean actually hooking up with people. Saying to get a buddy, which would mean giving a friend, like a trusted friend, the information, like who you're seeing, where you're meeting them, ways to contact you, things like that. The reason for this, sadly, is over the last year or so, about 8 men have disappeared from the Toronto gay village. Most recent, a few weeks ago, just after Pride, Andrew Kinsman was one of them, and I know we're going to be talking about him a bit later. Pardon me, a little bit later. But since Andrew's disappearance, 2 more have gone missing. So the whole thing is basically just, telling people, let people know where you are so we don't have to worry that you're going to be number 9, 10, 12 on the list.
Yeah, so we'll put a link to this into the chat here in a moment for the live folks. What it is that you have a brief kind of blog post, and then there's a link to the PDF that's actually printable that people can put up. Now, what I'm curious though, Smashy, is was your thought or intention is that this is going to get posted in LGBT businesses, bars, bathhouses, something, or more if it goes viral? That's a loose interpretation online. Do you know what I mean?
No, I do know what you mean, and the answer is yes. I definitely want it to go viral. I absolutely want it to go viral. And one thing I will be doing is in a couple weeks, it's going to be PAC Weekend, which is a pup weekend in Toronto, and I will be going around to various businesses with these. If I don't already, try and contact the business association that handles all of the stuff on in the gay village, and ask them if they'd like to print and put these up.
Gotcha. Yeah, so it's cute. It's what I believe you have a good background in. What you do as a skill, you put together a nice flyer. It's a bit graphic. Has a nice big headline at the top. It says "Getting Lucky?" ? Get a buddy! ! And then you basically make the statement about recent disappearance of men from the Toronto gay village. Communication is more important than ever. Luckily, it's also easier than ever. Meaning, whether it's Grindr, Growler, Scruff, Gromer, which I've never heard of, but apparently that's a thing. Oh, Gromer. That's what my bad. Or whatever app or site you use, you make sure that you have a buddy. And then it says, who can be a buddy? someone you trust and can tell that you're going to hook up. If you're going out to play, make sure you tell them about it so someone knows where you are. And then you also go on to say, what do they need to know? And some items are who you are hooking up with, like their real name, screen name, obviously, where they are as an address or area you're going to be traveling to, how to contact them, phone or email, and do they have a face pic? And then you put in italics, pass that along with an exclamation point. And then when else can you tell them? So are you having someone over? Let your buddy know. If you're picking up while you're out, get some info and let your buddy know. You're on your way home safe, let your buddy know. Going for a kink meetup, meet in person and talk about your scene first, let your buddy know. And then in parentheses, you wrote both before the meeting and the scene. And can't find a buddy, email those details to yourself. And basically that's a way of creating a record of information. And you finish it off with find a buddy, be a buddy, have fun, and be safe. So
yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, I especially wanted to include like the having someone over and the kink information because of two people that I know who unfortunately were killed when that happened. They brought someone home or they had someone over and they ended up getting like they ended up getting their heads bashed in.
Wow.
And I mean, this was a difference of 13 years, I think. So between Chris Rainsford in Ottawa and Brad Rigney, who I'm sure a few of you are familiar with.
Well, I'm sorry, that was an experience, obviously, for everyone involved at that time. And more importantly, that we have to have this discussion now, that this is a situation that's a possibility. I saw probably within 36 hours to 24 hours of the most recent information regarding Andrew Kinsman, his reported missing. And I'll be honest, the first post or two that I saw, I didn't necessarily pay attention to. I've never met Andrew, don't know him. But it's not so much that I bet it didn't go away, but I noticed more and more people. Like, it was spreading around. People were, posting about it. And included, I have a link to a recent article about a food drive and rally being held for him. And the reality is that we don't know what's happened in this case for Andrew, but there's a possibility that you're meeting someone you've never met before. You don't know them, and you don't know what their intent is. And I keep seeing things like, just in the past 48 hours, I think, articles referenced on Facebook about 4 teenagers that lured 2 men out into the county in an area and beat them up, and that other individuals, have been robbed. There's just been cases of violence and incidents that have happened, unfortunately, for folks. And it's not always that you find out after the fact that, they were merely robbed or, treated poorly, but that they survived. I mean, sometimes individuals don't, or that they're not seen or heard from again, and you don't know quite what happens.
Mm-hmm. And that's definitely true. And especially since, over the last few years, hate crimes against, gay men have risen. Hell, hate crimes against LGBTQ people as a whole have risen. So, with the current climate, doing everything we can to watch out for each other is paramount.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I liked about what you created was basically to say, hey, be proactive. If you're going to go do something, say something. Let an individual know. I think probably when people hear this and think about it for themselves, they're like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense. Especially when, you're, no offense, going to have a hookup with a stranger, and it may or may not be anonymous. So it's different if you establish, someone that, is a friend with benefits or a recurring fuck buddy. That's kind of a different type of relationship. But especially if you're going to meet someone you've never met before, how do you let that, information be aware without, kind of airing everything? in that case. I think the biggest challenge on this idea is to tell someone, to know who you can tell. Because I feel personally, and I could be wrong about this, gay men, when it comes to this type of activity, don't really kind of announce it or talk about it. It just happens. And so therefore they don't really have, I think, a good Judy, so to speak. You know what I mean? To use an older reference of someone that they can let them know everything that's going on.
Which is why I definitely include the don't have a buddy, email it to yourself part. Just because I know there are some guys who are so deep in the closet they're finding Christmas presents and don't want to tell anybody. So maintaining, just some sort of record, some sort of knowledge, so in case all goes wrong, people know where to start looking. Because that's the thing. I mean, there's been zero evidence or information so far on Andrew. I didn't know him myself. He's a friend of friends. But there's been, no information, and that's actually really friggin' scary.
Yeah, and in today's technology existence, we're a podcast. We're on YouTube. We have a website. I mean, we've got all this social media stuff. So it's rare for someone to not be connected to other individuals or to have an outlet of some sort, for communication. And even if you're not really as involved, maybe you don't really do Facebook, but, you do listen to our podcast, or you maybe watch us on YouTube, but there's still some communication, there's still some connectivity, something that's going on in that case. And I agree with you to have someone kind of just, for lack of a better reference, do a disappearing act, almost like, a witness relocation program, which is, I guess, possible, but doesn't seem to be the case. That's the part that I think is upsetting to individuals.
Yeah, and Andrew just made a really, really good comment in the live chat about needing to remove the stigma of hooking up so people are more comfortable about sharing that info with someone else. And there is a stigma around it. And I think there's just a habit of thinking, oh, they're just going to think I'm a big old slut. And some guys are totally comfortable with that. Some really aren't. And goes back to what I said about the guys who are, basically on the down low, so deep in their closet they're finding Christmas presents, or Nixon. But there's a certain amount of, I guess you could even call it slut shaming that we have, and that's something that if we are going to stop this from happening or lower the rates of it happening, we have to work together and say, you know what, you going out to play? Awesome. Good. Have fun. Thanks for letting me know.
Wear a condom.
Or take PrEP. Or both.
Yeah. Utilize the precautions, and perhaps this is what it needs to be. It just needs to be part of your arsenal. Meaning, this is where I'm going. This is what I'm doing. Here's kind of my checklist of things that I'm going to take care of. So it's if I'm going to go play, do you clean beforehand? Because, that's helpful. Damon's not here, but I can already hear him, making comment in agreement with that. And just kind of run through it. It's basically the who, what, where, when of that. And I think of that, I don't really honestly hook up or trick, really. I have a thing that I want to kind of know the person. So it's not that it never happens. It's just not all that often. But This is one of the things I think about. I've talked to some people and they sort of agree with me on this. I am uncomfortable about having strangers in my home because while we're busy focusing on, the hormone situation, you're in my personal space and you get to see everything that's here. I mean, for wherever it is that you are. So if you're only in the living room or in the bedroom or whatever, if you use my bathroom, you know what I mean? You kind of, it's an intimacy kind of issue for me that they're seeing all this stuff. And there's a part of me that's am I opening up to a possible negative future? And by that, I mean, I come home one day and my place is robbed. Or do you know what I mean? And then my stuff is gone. And now it's well, and just hear me out for a second, is if I have a whole list of individuals that could be possible, individuals of suspect, that kind of complicates things. So that's not me, trying to slut shame or an advocate, in less quantity, I guess, or whatever. It's just the way my brain is. I kind of think a little bit about that. But the reality is that happens for all of us, no matter what, unless you, I don't know, hook up in a tool shed that's empty in someone's backyard. I don't know. That can be different for that type of thing. Chester, you look like you were going to say something.
I was. I just want to point out that the stuff that we're talking about is not limited to you going out to, say, a bar or something like that. These things need to occur when you are at a bear run and you take somebody back to your room, or if you invite somebody into your own home, or you go over to somebody else's home. All of these things still apply. Just because you're at an event does not mean you have 100% guaranteed safety. People are assholes. People do shit like this all over the place. We have had many discussions about things that have happened at events that you need to be watching out for.
And if you're going to a bathhouse, let someone know you're going to a bathhouse. You might not have access to your phone while you're in there, but just to let them know where you are.
As dumb as this may, or as odd as this may sound, I think you are probably safer than anywhere else to have a hookup at a bathhouse than you would anywhere else. While you're inside of it.
Yeah, I mean
it's very self-policed. People will know if something's off or amiss.
Mm-hmm. Correct, because you'd have to kind of have like the Shirley Jackson lottery, story concept that the whole community is like equally, right. Otherwise, I agree with you. I think what you're trying to say, Chester, is to go to a bathhouse is a business location. You have to check into it. You have to pay. I mean, like, there's a whole process of things that kind of not only create a trail, but create, in a way, it's a safe space. The whole point of that business is to have a location for individuals to meet up and to do things. So,
however, once you step out of the bathhouse, you're back on your own.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree that once you leave the premises, not even the premises, once you leave the building and you go out into the parking lot, you're kind of back in the real world, for lack of a better reference, in that case. And I agree with you. I'm glad you brought up, Chester, about if you're at a bear run. I've thought about this, how you've got your phone and you're on it and you're busy chatting with someone, and it's, lots of flirting and there's dick pics or whole pics or whatever it is. And then you decide that you're going to meet up. If you have a room to yourself and you're going to have someone over, you might want to let someone else know that's there, like, hey, I'm going to be occupied or whatever. I think this is a perfect opportunity for people to create coded systems amongst themselves. So let's say that, I don't know, I'll use Drew because he's watching the show. If Drew and I are at an event together and one of us is going to do something, I think if we were to send each other, a brief message of some details, whether it be a room number, a time frame, just data of some sort that allows for the other individual to know what's happening, and then most importantly, follow up. So you get together with someone, you have a great time, everybody's, sticky and in bliss. Great. Don't forget to follow up, like bookend it afterwards. And, you don't have to spill the tea. You can if you want. You can also call COL and tell us a dirty story about it. But
here's an idea. Here's an idea. Next time you're having a hookup, just open up your phone, dial COL, and leave your phone on the nightstand so we can hear.
Oh, God, I could just imagine being like, lower. Ow, fuck, I said lower. God damn it.
No teeth.
Who raised you?
This is just all fun aside, this is just a legal like nightmare waiting to happen. I can hear Chess completely screaming right now at us for not like setting the record straight. That obviously you would need to have consent from all participants to be able to create a recording or an open line on a communication device. But
Here's another
Of course,
thing.
of course.
We could also leave a message on the COL line with the details, and then maybe do a follow-up saying it was really good.
yes.
And that's all. Maybe tell us details if you'd like, but still.
I mean, you could, like I said, a coded system. The message is this one stays in the black book. If you have heard the story I told a long time ago about the degrees of breakfast the morning after, you could explain that. I mean, there's lots of things that you can do, but the most important thing is just communicating, letting an individual or individuals know. And it doesn't have to be one person. I kind of want to make sure that people understand. You don't have to pick a guy or girl, whoever, as your friend that you can openly be a whore with, or whatever you want to call it. You could create a whole group. You could put it on Facebook Messenger, something, or use a different app of some sort to communicate that to. I think that's... What's that?
W-Bear.
W-Bear, yeah. You know, or Grommer, maybe? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that one, obviously.
No, I added that one. It's one of the lesser known ones. It's like more for like chubby dudes and gainers and things like that. I'm not a gainer, but I am on it because, chubby dude. The reason I included it was because I wanted to include more than just, scruff and grinder. Just, showing a wider range of body type apps.
Correct. I agree. I don't know if there's something that already exists as a website, a platform, an app that can help with this, because I just realized it would be great if we had something that would allow you to capture data and input it easily and make it available to other individuals. I mean, the first thing that comes to my mind right now is like Google Drive. You know what I mean? Like a cloud-based kind of thing. No matter what device you have, you can get to it. Then maybe you create a folder for each individual. You add something, I don't know. And then you just simply text a link to said buddy in that case. But the point of all this is we're trying to be real. We're not trying to be downers, and we're not trying to scare folks. But you just don't know what another person's intent is or what can happen. A couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I know on the podcast we briefly discussed, I think part of a kink panel about an article that, or something that hit the news regarding a play session that went horribly wrong, that a safety mechanism failed, and that an individual was, I can't remember exactly what the end result is, but basically, let's say the body was disfigured, possibly dismembered. It was something about with a sling and not using some proper safety constraints. And I remember that the kink individuals we had on, I want to say, I could be wrong, Jess and Miss Tammy were both like, obviously, certain things weren't done, in terms of protocol and, precaution and that type of stuff. But that's an example of how I don't think that was planned by any means. It wasn't intent. It wasn't malicious. It was just unfortunate that something happened. And so letting individuals know where you're going to be and what's going to happen can at least give people something to work with. And I think what kind of prompted this for you, Smashy, was, well, we don't know Andrew personally. We know individuals that know him, and everybody is kind of scratching their head because there's nothing to go with.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And that's where it came from. And I am concerned for my community. And I think, was that the Adrian Exley case you were talking about? Because it sounds very familiar.
I don't remember what the situation was. I just know that I can't remember all the details. I want to say they were suspended, and one of the suspension apparatus of the rig, whatever, failed, and yeah, it was not good.
Okay, it was his suspension. No, this what I was thinking of was breath control. Actually, my friend Ian Bennett suggested, a second poster using certain apps like Find Friends and Glimpse. I know somebody else did too. I think it was when I posted this originally on Facebook. I think it was either going to be Arthur Hall or Derek Fenneman. Who let's see here, who mentioned these apps and like this one service from Google that will basically just track your movement. And while it seems very invasive, while it may seem very invasive at this point, it might actually be helpful in case something goes wrong. Because I know that there's the Android phone locator thing or the device manager that I use whenever I lose my phone in my apartment, which for a bachelor is more often than you think. But it's this would just track the actual like where it actually went. I think if the battery runs out, and just sort of logs that. And
yeah, Apple has something similar with their Find My. It's kind of like an app piece that you can have in regards to devices. And I will admit, as a single person, I have had to once or twice, was about the limit of it, find my iPad and or my phone because inadvertently it's not where I thought it was. And once, actually, my phone didn't technically disappear, but because it's in a black case, and with the screen in dark or whatever, I couldn't find it in a black interior of a vehicle, so that's always fun. But those type of things can provide some assistance as well. In the event, forbid, anything did happen, at least a technology device is of a last known location. It gives something, to individuals to work with in that case.
Yes.
But yeah, so this is what I kind of want to know, if everyone's willing to talk about it. Now that we're doing this, do any of us already do this or have ever done it, whether it be once or all the time or never?
My protocols are kind of simple. I get as much information from the person as possible. I don't do completely anonymous hookups.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I'm at home, or if I'm going to somebody else's place, or if I'm in a hotel or at a bear run, I am talking to this person for what I feel is good enough to satisfy my trust level in them. I require a face pic. I almost always get some kind of time, like, when will you be here? It's not well, just show up whenever. I need, like, specific times, and typically what we're going to be doing. I guess that's it for me.
I don't typically hook up either. I don't typically hook up directly off the app. What I do is I, offer to meet up for coffee. I actually kind of fucked up with this one guy because I'm saying, I was really tired and I was being kind of frank. He's like, yeah, I just, took care of something and then went to bed. He's like, I wish I could have been there to help with that. I'm like, I really didn't. No. I was too tired. I'd be terrible company. Also, I know you were flirting, but I'm a bit thick sometimes. He hasn't messaged back. As for actually doing this, one of the things I do with my boyfriend is if I'm going to play with somebody, I let him know. It's rare that it happens, but if I'm going to, I tell him first. Hell, I'm meeting somebody for coffee on Monday, and I've already given him all the information.
I think when you are in a relationship, whether it be new or long-standing, you automatically have a person typically you can confide in or give information to, unless you're doing stuff on the DL,
Yeah.
that you're not being open. you're being open, but maybe it's not open. I don't know.
Open on one end.
Yeah, that's between the parties, obviously. Then that kind of complicates it. I think primarily what we're maybe thinking this applies to the most is single individuals who aren't being like what Chester was talking about, taking the time to invest in knowing who the other individual is. And I will own my experience is across a spectrum. It's in different places. I just recently talked about on my way back from a convention, I ended up going to a bathhouse. It crossed my mind, but I didn't know if I was going to, and then I did. I didn't tell anybody. I just kind of did it. And then after the fact, I decided to talk about it on the podcast. So that's all fine and dandy, but it probably would have been better to let some individuals know, FYI, here's my, pin drop on a map. I don't know, something that gave an indication of where, and then it's up to me to provide the who and the what, not so much the why, because I think that's the whole point of what we're saying is, I say get a lucky buddy, meaning a person that you can confide in or share that information with, that you know them well enough, they know you, and there's actually kind of in a way no judgment. It's just they recognize this is a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be your lucky buddy.
Oh, thanks, Chester.
And if he's not available, hey, you can contact me.
Great. Now I'm going to have like dozens upon dozens of requests for everyone to be my lucky buddy. Hey,
there are worse things.
If anything, you have this entire cast here.
That's true.
That just made me think of something, though, Gary. I live my life online pretty openly. So I think for me, I would hope that people who follow me, particularly friends that I'm connected with, in such a way that know me well, that if I make a post, say on Tumblr, about give you an example of something that happened. I was going up to Winnipeg to meet these 20-something-year-old boys, and I was doing BDSM with them for their very first time. And I remember I had all of my gear on, and I took a selfie, and I even typed out, heading up to Winnipeg to play with some new boys. And then I took off. Had it gone like 24 hours and nobody heard anything from me, I hope that somebody out there would have said, hey, didn't he go up to Winnipeg?
Mm-hmm. I remember when you posted that. I was like, lucky.
I just use that as an example. But the point behind that is, I guess for me, that's also a subconscious way of me putting information out there for others to know what I'm doing.
Right.
So on your not safe for work Tumblr account, post that you're going to get play and approximately where. So that's another way. That way you have a whole bunch of buddies of all the people who are following you.
Sort of, yeah. But yeah, I really think the only ones who would pay attention are close friends.
Sure.
I don't think all of my followers would be paying that much attention to it.
Yeah, I kind of feel like it was funny, Chester, when you were like, oh, well, you could let me know that information. And at first I was like, but you're in North Dakota. Yeah, you'll be closer in Ohio soon. And I don't know why distance became an issue for me. And then as you were talking, I was like, oh, because if I do go offline, do you know what I mean? Like I kind of disappear or whatever without notice, you're not nearby to stop by. You know what I mean? To ring the doorbell or knock on the door or whatever. Granted, we're interconnected enough. You know people that know me that could be like, hey, so-and-so in Erie, you know.
Right. The very first person, if God forbid something happened to you that made me think of that, the very first person I'm thinking of is Drew.
Who's
I would
in
also
Toledo?
I would also think Rich and Vince.
He is in Toledo, but Drew would know from there who would be someone even closer to you, physically and.
True.
Rich and
Whatever.
Vince.
Jeff is correct that the boys, the Cubs, would be probably a safer bet. But that's what I just realized is my advice to folks is don't do what I was just doing a moment ago and getting caught up in the, well, who's the most beneficial? Maybe it's multiple people, or that you create a network and those individuals all kind of know each other so they can figure out amongst themselves who that is. I have close friends. I have best friends. I have, even amongst that, very, very close confidence, and there's only a couple. But I recognize that some of them I might not share some of this information with. It's not that they can't handle it. I think they just don't want to know. It's not, part of their background or experience. So I would need to figure out how to make something, to triangulate between a couple of people and be like, hey,
Drew said he'll be there in a flash.
Right. And by a flash, he means approximately 4 hours. But anyways. So.
Very long strobe. Like, I mean, I'm lucky. I've got my partner who's in Montreal, but I also have like my best friend locally who, will tell me who actually does tell me if he's going to be going off and, possibly playing with somebody. And I mean, a lot of that isn't even just specifically, this is the information you should have. It's just conversation. And if we can treat this info as conversation, I think it'd make it a lot easier and, also really reduce the stigma of it and build our networks both locally and nationally and hell, even internationally. So, I mean, we could find somebody who could help close by. Mm-hmm. It's like that show Gotcha Man Crowds. First season, not second season.
If need be, we also have we have a Facebook group, and we have our Bear Underground group, the COL Entourage on Facebook and Cubs Out Loud Entourage on Bear Underground. You could post in there and see if there's somebody nearby that can be your lucky buddy.
Agreed. I think it's the whole point of this show topic, I think, is to put out there. It's something maybe new. I haven't honestly thought about it a lot in my life, but that's probably because I'm very cautious. Even so, I look back and there are definitely times I potentially put myself in a spot that could have not been great because I quickly met up with someone. I did not know them. I did not necessarily have a lot of information. I think of a couple of times in my younger years, hooked up with a guy and left the bar and went someplace, to basically to their home, but don't know them, don't know where they live, have to follow them. And for me, because I live in a city that's not as concerning, perhaps. I mean, it should be. I'm thinking in terms of if I live in a more rural area, to follow someone into, an area that I'm not familiar with, geography-wise and the rest of it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure that, we've all done that. We've all been there at some point in our lives. I mean, it's one of those, it's almost like a coming of age thing or, coming on age. If he's older. But there's no better time to start, really.
Agreed. And maybe this is something that we are focusing on as amongst the four of us here, an older group of individuals. I'm curious to know if the 20-somethings I am friends with or acquaintances with, if this ever crosses their mind as a cautionary item, or because they live their lives, I'm going to say, more openly than I did at their age, that it's just a given. Either the information is out there already, so it's not a concern, or they don't see the potential negative outcome. Because I think we've had more life experience and also have been through some things to look back, not only historically about bad individuals, bad experiences, things that happened to folks maybe we did or did not know them, but also in terms of being, just living through, I don't know what I want to say, judicial and government situations where our humanity was not necessarily always being treated the way it should be, we think.
Acknowledged even.
True.
Also,
Yeah, I go ahead.
Also, as a lucky buddy, if somebody tells you they're going to get lucky, follow up with them as well. So, like, the next morning, or if it seems like it's been longer than you would think it should be, just do a quick check-in, ask, how'd it go? And obviously, if you're the person who has the lucky buddy, you can just answer, it went great, or you don't have to necessarily go into details, although we'd probably prefer you to go into as much detail as possible, but that's another matter altogether.
That's
Agreed.
what brunch is for.
All right, was it pancakes, waffles,
Nice.
bacon and eggs?
Full course buffet. Did you make him a quiche? I mean, like let's figure this out.
I now want that to be a euphemism for something.
Yes.
Are we
Greg,
getting sausage or bagels?
yeah, very true. Greg makes a good point in the chat, actually. He said, don't die of embarrassment. Tell a buddy where you are going. I agree. Whether you have all the details or not, any detail would be helpful to just let an individual know. I will tell, this is an old story, and I don't think I've said this before on the podcast. When I worked at a campground resort that was owned, operated by gay men, and was clothing optional, there was an individual that was under contract that came there that was gay for weekends typically, but not every weekend. We had connected. We had a couple of years that we were close buddies, and we developed a coded system. So he would tell me when he arrived at camp and would check in, and I would say, hey, what's going on, girl? Blah, blah, blah. And then he would say, oh, hey, by the way, I stopped for coffee. And I would say, how was the coffee? And he would say, oh, it was hot. So we would have this conversation. And what we were referring to is, if we were talking about coffee, we were talking about an adult bookstore near a truck stop that was pretty seedy and did not serve coffee. But, you could overlay that, kind of in this description. And then the other one was, if not coffee, did you go gardening? Which is in reference to a theater that is no longer in existence that was an adult movie theater that played, triple X type films in that, but was a hookup place, and garden was in the title of the place. So that was the references we were making. And if we were to have this conversation around lay people, we could almost like when individuals use sign language in a public space, have an entire conversation without everybody kind of knowing what's happening. I mean, if you pay attention, you could probably figure it out, but it was just a thing. And we were, being as Queenie, you could just simply, like I'm talking right now, oh, I went gardening, did you pick up any implements? I found some things. I kind of checked some stuff out, but nothing was really working. And, it really needs to be weeded.
So basically Polari.
Polari.
Oh, Polari was the coded gay the coded gay language that was really popular in the UK in the 50s and 60s.
Was there a video made about this? Okay.
Yep.
I think I did see about that.
You'll know what it is if I can find the video, because I'm looking for it.
Okay. Interesting. But that's another way you could do this. You could create a self-contained language amongst individuals that reads one way but is something completely different. I don't know if anybody wants to put that much effort into it. I mean, it's not really about spy versus spy, but perhaps that's, a fun way of doing that. But, I mean, for all we know, maybe Jeffrey for all these years has been talking about WoW, and the reality is that we all think it's about this video game that he's playing, and it's not at all. It's completely different. We're just fools for not figuring it out yet.
Raids are actually orgies. I mean,
Nice.
we really pounded that boss.
We all ganged up on him.
Yeah. Fuck, you make me want to play Final Fantasy 14 again. I know you're not talking about that game, but still, that was my MMO for a while, but kind of stopped while doing school because too expensive and not enough time.
Yeah, understandable.
Anything else we want to say about the topic?
Find a buddy or be a buddy.
And just remember your resources for finding that buddy. And we've got social media all over the place. As I said, Facebook group, the Bear Underground group. Bear Underground group's great, especially because it's on the site. And in addition to being able to find a lucky buddy, you could also share whatever, including naked pictures. That's a side note.
I do want to say that, if you are the type of person that feels that you don't have a friend that you can talk to about these things, or somebody that you could use as a buddy, I can say with confidence that any of the COL members, the hosts, would be happy to be your buddy. Or COL itself. Just message us on Facebook.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, that would be pretty public, but not necessarily if you. Yeah.
No, direct message us.
Yeah, don't. I mean, you could put it all out there, but just be aware that it's kind of publicly available. So you're not telling just us. There would be a whole lot of people who would freak
using
out.
the messenger version is fine. And if you need to do a quick call or something, you can call the COL Talk line. Just give us the details, and those are definitely stuff we will not play on the show. So,
well, unless you tell us to, obviously, but that would
just make sure if you do call us on the voice line and leave that information, that once you're done, you make a follow-up call and just tell us how it went. Again, you don't have to put details, but the more details, the more entertained we will be. Anyways.
And if you are of the prose type, and big into literature, you could write the whole thing out as a story, and then you could send it to us or link it to us here at the podcast, which is cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Thank you very much. And we could potentially use it in a future show.
Yeah, change the names, protect the innocent, and we'll have a sexy bear read them all for you.
That was about my closest RuPaul plug ding type moment that we could get out of that. So,
anyways,
all right.
Hashtag calling all bears.
Anyways, should we move on into penis? Where's the thing?
On to
this one.
On to penis.
Okay, I want to first admit something. I'm using this link instead of the other one, which I was thinking of just because I thought it was weird, which was the picture of Evan that was recently posted. And he was missing a few pieces of clothing. But this case, because this isn't kind of weird to have shared that, I call this Morning Mischief. And it's our Maple Leaf Cub, which I think we talked about last show. He's having some coffee, and he's then has just a regular selfie. But for some reason, to me, he looks like he's about to get into some sort of mischief. And I'm wondering if I can join. I know he's actually wearing clothes, but that's beside the point. I'm assuming those clothes would come off very soon. But
he's
Sexy,
adorable.
yeah, this sexy son of a bitch drives me nuts.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how else to say it.
His eyes.
His everything. He's adorable.
Especially in these pictures. The eyes.
Yeah, he's sexy. He has, for me personally, he, is tripping triggers. He has dark features. I don't know what to say. He has ink. He has tattoos on him. He's just
He's adorable.
Yep.
in a fantasy mind frame. He is. Yes, please. I will take that to go. But
Incidentally, I just moved over to Facebook, and the first thing I see is a GIF of I think it's Nicki Minaj saying "Yes, bitch, yes." So it's like, yeah, I totally agree.
yeah, Maple Leaf Cub drives me crazy. Anyways,
We're fans. We're big fans.
he's just so fucking adorable. It kills me.
And let me tell you how much of a fan we are, because my link is also to the guy.
Oh my god! I was like, wait, why is the browser's broken? I'm so confused. Never mind. Now I get it. Didn't we already pick this before?
Did we? Maybe.
Damon picked this.
Possibly.
Or maybe Damon talked about it when one of us picked him. Anyways, go on.
Possibly. I mean, it's about 11-ish days old from when he posted it, but this is the first time I've seen it, was this morning.
Okay.
I was scrolling along in Tumblr, and I'm like, wow, this guy's hot. And the first thing that I said is body goals, because this is what I would prefer my body to look like. And God, those underwear on him just look amazing.
Are they underwear though?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they're kind of on the front. They're cut a little bit like underwear, but because they're a long, brief, like I like the length of them. I'm like, oh, it looks a little more like a biker short type.
Your boxer briefs.
It's just 9-inch boxer brief. It's what I wear.
Yeah.
And now you all know what kind of underwear I wear.
Sometimes.
Gosh, he's just, he's thick in all the right places for me.
Because of this, I'm going to put this segment on pause to now officially put Maple Leaf Cub as the new COL pedestal.
Good call.
Congratulations. So, I got to do some updating for our new pedestal. Sorry, Hadrian, you've been kicked off.
Hadrian is not going to care. I guarantee Hadrian will gladly let this boy take position. And
any position
Many
he wants.
He actually kind of looks like a younger Hadrian.
He doesn't want all
like,
for
oh my
real
God,
positions.
you're so
He wants
right.
all positions.
yeah, he does. He looks like a little bit like a younger Hadrian. But in some of the pictures, he also looks like a guy, and I can't think of who he is. It'll take me a while to think. It's something about his face, but yeah, no, God, the pictures of him in the pants with the suspenders. Anyways, sorry.
He basically looks like if Hadrian and Bailey actually like had a kid and raised him to be, a fucking adorable cub.
Perhaps.
I could see that.
Perhaps.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
So he's a Hadrian Jr. Anyways.
That was my pick.
All right. So I'm going to break pattern because I didn't realize this is what we were going to do. I've already posted about Maple Leaf Cub before and had way too many dirty thoughts about him that I want to make reality. So I have moved on to another individual who I recently found out about, and this is Baby Bear over on Tumblr. And so this is Baby Bear's first singlet because someone else I follow had blogged this image, and I just really, really like it. I think it's amazing. Yeah, he's wearing a black low-cut singlet, but the way he took the picture, kind of holding the phone, his arms are coming up this way, and so it's like from about chin down at a certain angle, but his chest his hair with the pleasure trail going all the way down is being shown off, and then the singlet comes under his belly and comes together, and he has a pronounced jock area, which I'm not sure exactly why, because we can't tell in the picture if this is about being excited or like if there's other things going on per se. But yeah, it's I approve of Baby Bear's first singlet. And then if you look through some of his other pictures, he's a real cutie patootie.
He's adorable.
He's got a harness and a beautiful ass, and anyways, that's that.
Okay, and the one I put up, it's not Maple Leaf Cub. However, like Baby Bear, he does have a singlet. This would be Hudson on Canada Day. Now, I run a sort of like a community Tumblr, like a pup community Tumblr called My Name is Pup, where I try to encourage people to send in the stories behind their names. And one of the people who did, which actually surprised me, goes by Hudson, and he's fucking gorgeous. And for Canada Day, he put up a bunch of pictures in a red and white singlet. And I just keep looking at these, and I'm like, hello. And the thing is, I've met him in person, and I think he's absolutely fucking adorable. Unfortunately, he is, of course, across the country, like on way over on like the west side of the country. So, but I thought I'd share that because he's adorable, and the story that he sent behind his name is actually really cool. So yeah, good old Hudson pup.
Aww.
He is adorable.
I have been following him for quite some time, and yeah, I think he's fucking adorable.
Mm-hmm. Trust me, for me, the thirst is real on that one. He is hot.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to. I'm gonna have to cheat and use my secret. Oh, all right. Sorry, I'm like trying to look for his pictures because he's not as bad as me. But I infamously don't have a lot of my own images on mine, so makes it difficult to see me versus everybody else that I ended up blogging on my own Tumblr account. All right, ready for links?
Yes. Moving on. So I got to watch the new Netflix series Castlevania, definitely based on video game. The link I have is just the teaser trailer that they have on YouTube. But one of my favorite parts about the teaser is the fact that they have the old NES cartridge and they have somebody blow in the cartridge before they put it in. It's hilarious. But the show is actually pretty cool. So I would check it out. I'm just really sad that it's like 8 episodes long or something.
It's only 4 episodes, but they're going to bring in another 8 because it's been such a success. My only problem is they don't have like the music, like the Castlevania music. Otherwise, it's basically what would happen if the new Berserk series wasn't shit.
It's really cool. So, so I recommend checking it out.
Some friends of mine online have been commenting on it, and I was like, okay, I don't know. I tune out when certain things come up and people like, it's like the Kool-Aid thing. I've talked about it before. I'm kind of like, apparently this is a thing, and a lot of people are into it. So that's pretty awesome, though. I mean, the video looks good. Neat.
I'm nodding vigorously.
For those people in the audio show. Moving on.
So mine is to a Tumblr site called tagsbearunlocked.tumblr.com. Now, I know that Gary and I know this person personally, but I don't want to say his name because I don't know if he wants people to know who he is.
I'm going to say you are deferring correctly because this individual, this isn't giving anything away, I think. It was at Claw. this is when I found out about this blog, and he showed me what he was doing, and I think it's pretty neat. Like it's cool in a way if you understand the premise of what is going on. So, do you want to explain a little bit more, Chester?
Yeah, because I haven't even gotten that far.
I know.
Okay, so this person, he's an artist, and what he does is he'll go on his growler, and if somebody unlocks their dick pics, he will then draw it, and then he posts it on this particular Tumblr.
But
and it's very interesting because he doesn't give any information about who it belongs to or anything like that. All he does is give the distance away that person is from him at the time it's sent.
Correct.
So if you look on a picture, it just says 300.3 miles away or 5.3 miles away, whatever the case may be.
So, for instance, when we were at Claw and he showed me that he was just starting this and what he was doing, he had showed me a couple images and we were talking about this idea because I thought it was definitely unique. I hadn't seen it done at all before. And I liked it. And then I was like, but how are you kind of making sure, not so much it's anonymous, but you're not like tracking things back. And this was the most key point is the mileage, the distance this individual is at the time that it gets given is about where he's at that time. So it's not about where they are from him always, like when he's at home. So for instance, while he was at Claw, if someone else at Claw had sent him or revealed an image and he decided to draw it, then they would only be, I don't know, less than a mile away.
0.0 miles away. Well, no, that's interesting that you said that because when I bumped into him, he was downstairs in the lobby doing one of these, and then he was explaining what it was, and I'm like, I don't want to be completely narcissistic, but I would like one of these too because I think what you're doing is very neat, and I like his artistry anyway. But I said, I'm not going to send you one now. I want to send you one from North Dakota. Like, I don't want to be 0.0 miles away.
Which means if you're going to do it or haven't done it yet, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
I've already sent him one.
Oh. Nice.
Huh.
So, yeah, I really like what he's doing with this. I think it's pretty neat. I was already following on Tumblr, although I just had to turn on the get notifications because I haven't seen a lot of these later or most recent images, I should say, artwork that he's done. But, yeah, I like it. I think it's neat, conceptually, what it is that he's trying to do with it. And just as a complete sidebar reference, if he happens to listen to the podcast, your latest videos online, totally approving. So, yeah.
What?
They got my attention.
The videos?
Yes.
Yeah, I feel I missed an opportunity at Claw. That's all I'm going to say. So,
Oh my.
to be fair, there was not an option on the table, but had I known, I might have. Yeah. So.
I think that brings us to Smashy.
No,
Oh no, Gary. Sorry, Gary.
Sorry, I'm still scrolling back through the images.
This is Amber Galloway.
Shoot. Sorry.
All right, so yeah, this is something that I had posted about online. It's a Facebook link because it's embedded in Facebook. I don't think it's outside of Facebook. From Vox, VOX. For those that are aware, it's a site magazine type operation, and I thought this was amazing. It's a great video, and it says this ASL has interpreted music for countless artists and transformed the musical experience for the deaf. Friends of mine are or have been ASL interpreters. Gabe, who has been on the show, has done it for events. And what I love about this is basically she wanted to add something because American Sign Language is, in a way, boring when it comes to music. So she explains as you watch the video that music is kind of like one motion of the hands, and then there's like nothing else. If it's instrumental, then there's really nothing to do. If there are lyrics, at least you can, explain what the lyrics are. But she's added a whole other flavor of nuance about body language, facial expression, a lot of stuff that helps basically make Technicolor a black and white communication method. I think it's absolute fucking amazing. I'm so ecstatic that she's been working and doing this thing, and that the individuals that I tagged, actually Gabe and Ryan, who lives here in my area, who helped do ASL interpretive service a couple years ago for Drenched Fur at the time when we needed it. I just thought it was great. And I hope this is a thing that takes off and becomes something more. I love watching interpreters who enjoy what they do and are really into it. It might seem in a way that they're showboating or that they're being entertaining, but you have to think about that the individual who it's meant for can't hear or hear much. I mean, they might be able to hear a little bit, but it's greatly diminished, and hence they're using an interpreter to understand what's happening at that time. So I just thought it was pretty awesome. So if you have time to listen to it, I can't quite remember how long the video is offhand. It's not real long, but
So when you linked this video or put this link in the doc and I saw it, I assumed I knew what it was because I have seen other videos like this. There's another person who does it, and she predominantly does rap shows. And there was a video not too long ago that popped up with her and Snoop Dogg, and it was very interesting. And when I watched that, and then I went back and clicked on the one that you had posted initially, and I've seen her stuff too. And yeah, I think sorry, I'm trying to get my thoughts in line. What you're saying about her bringing dance into this interpretation of them signing the words to the song, I think that's fantastic. I am mesmerized. I don't understand ASL at all, but when I go to events where there is an interpreter, I'm always watching them because I think it's captivating, especially when they are having fun doing it. I went to a comedy show one time where there was an interpreter, and the comedian kept on saying fuck, and every time she did, she'd look over at the interpreter, and at one point in the middle of her stand-up, she went fuck, 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 and you can just see the interpreter signing it, and it was just so great because the two of them were playing off of each other.
That's awesome. I've seen that in concert, actually, at the Amanda Palmer show for her book tour for Art of Asking. She had an interpreter there for both the reading and for the singing. And the one of the best shots I got of the night was her tour manager singing along to Delilah, and the interpreter, just all three of them on stage doing this song. And it was actually one of the most beautiful versions of it I've ever heard. And I'm lucky I got to witness that.
I agree that one of my favorite things in the world, which is probably perverted and inappropriate in a way, is comedians who do shows and they have an ASL interpreter there, because invariably they turn and they watch the interpreter, translating into ASL everything that they're saying, and at a certain point they stop talking just to watch, and then it becomes a thing. Now suddenly the interpreter is a part of the act, and that's usually where all the swear language comes out, because then they just want to see the interpreter do all the interpreting of every whatever it is they could get them to say. And most comedians have way too much fun, because then they just make up crazy stuff on purpose to have fun about that particular thing. But that's part of why I really like this, is the idea behind let's make this, I don't want to say right, let's make it better. Let's turn it into something that the person who is getting the message on the receiving end, basically, that they enjoy it more as opposed to music, and that's all that it is, basically. So yeah.
Cool.
Yee.
So
It is incredibly cool. So
Smashy, what do you got?
Well, let's see. I can't really be a guest and not be a self-promoting whore. So,
Okay.
the link I'm providing is the link to actually my portfolio site, sjamescurtisdesign.ca. I am available for hire. Please hire me. Mainly, I've put this site up, or I've redone this site like a few times over the last few years. I'm actually a student in the Bachelor of Design program over at Conestoga College in Kitchener. And a lot of the work that's on there is stuff that I've actually done for my program, or like just doing things for fun. Actually, after this today, I'm going to be working on something that I'm putting up on my Patreon, which is Smashy the Floof on Patreon. Where basically I'm going to be putting together. I'm finally going to be putting together a big collection of a lot of the like pup photography that I've done since I think February. So to put that up as like an ebook. But yes, if you go to sjamescurtisdesign.ca, that's sjamescurtisdesign.ca, you'll get to see a whole bunch of my portfolio work, including some really cool photography, some illustrations. I'm more of a designer than an illustrator, to be honest, and just lots of fun stuff that you might like. So, and you can also contact me using the contact on that site and you'll get to see Form A38, which anybody who happens to be an Asterix and Obelix fan should get that. And I kind of blame/thank my boyfriend for that, for introducing me to the 12 Trials of Asterix. So,
Thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what, folks? That's the end. Oh.
Hey, I have to interrupt with something.
Okay.
So, fuck, I don't know how to all right, damn it, I gotta find the link for this. So, for those of you that are Doctor Who fans.
Oh!
Do y'all in this podcast right now know what the hell just happened?
Yes. It happened like 2 hours ago, but yes.
You know what?
No,
Fuck
what
you.
happened?
I just found out about it, so don't be yucking on this, damn it.
What?
I'm not yucking on it.
They revealed the 13th Doctor. But there's
Spoiler alert.
But there's a big goddamn reason why the 13th Doctor is important. They finally did the thing that everyone has been asking for at least 4 or 5 years. I don't even watch this show or follow it, and I know how big this is. So, yeah. We'll put the link in the thing. I'm trying to be nice because someone is yelling at me about spoilers.
What?
I already know about it. You could tell people. I'm just saying, if you're going to reveal what it is, preface it.
I'm not going to. I'll be nice. We're live.
I won't be.
Fine, we'll do it after the show.
I won't be.
Hold on.
I'll tell you who the Doctor isn't. It's not Forrest Whitaker.
Smashy. Hold on, please. We're going to finish and we'll go to post. You'll understand in a moment. Sorry.
Anyways.
I didn't say who it was.
There's plenty of ways to contact us. I'm trying to rein the show in. Play ways to contact us. Pop over to our website, cubsoutloud.com. Shoot us an email at cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Leave us a sexy voicemail or a message for us to be your buddy at 361 COL Talk. That's 361-265-8255. You can follow us on Facebook, Tumblr, Twitter, Google+, YouTube, where you can see the videos. All at Cubs Out Loud, the appropriate place, the URL. We have a Facebook group, the Cubs COL Entourage, as well as the Bear Underground group, Cubs Out Loud Entourage. Basically the same thing, just one has Cubs Out Loud and one says COL. Anyways, if you subscribe to us through iTunes, rate us there. You can subscribe to us through Google Play Podcasts. Listen to us on Stitcher Radio. Give us a thumbs up there. Find me anywhere in the internet as Box Tech, Box Pup, E-Box Cub, Box something or other. Oh, and we have a Well, we have an Instagram now, so.
You can find me on Tumblr or Twitter under the name The Pup Up There, or various bear dating sites across the net under the name Pup Shutter or Cupcake76.
And you can find me pretty much anywhere that's internet related digitally as CareBear73.
And if you want to say hi to me, I'm Smashy the Floof over on Tumblr and Patreon. Also, I believe Smashy Floof or Smashy the Floof on Twitter. Or if you want to say hi on Telegram, I'm Pup Baron there. PUPBAREN.
And with that, say goodnight, everybody!
Good night, everyone.
Have a good one, y'all.
A bientôt.
Yay. Woo! That's the end of the show. So, okay, so what the hell is going on with Doctor Who?
There's now a new doctor.
Well, I got that part.
All right.
It's not Forrest Whitaker.
Although the reveal isn't a forest. So here's the thing. I don't know who this individual is. So this goes to show how I'm out of touch.
I don't think anybody knows.
Oh, I was going to say,
Never
I was
heard of it.
testing Chester because of your time over in the UK that you might have known who this actor is, but I guess not. In this case. I'm waiting because I put the link in our Skype chat to see if Jeff's going to watch the video to see the reveal or...
Yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
Okay.
Oh, I'm looking her up right now. She was in Attack the Block and Girls of St. Trinians.
While I'm thinking of it, I apologize, Smashy, for yelling at you and talking over you, because I've never done that to a guest before, but I was trying to give us the benefit, because Jeff has to take this video show, turn it into the audio to post for later today, so I didn't really want to spoil it if anyone hadn't somehow found out yet, or whatever.
Yeah, that's why I said it isn't. That's why I said it isn't Forrest Whitaker, as opposed to it's Jodie Whittaker. So.
Yeah, I was seeing something about like people going all the hell. The doctor, everything has to be men, blah blah. Very sexist.
Fuck them, or better yet, don't.
Are people really being misogynist about this shit?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, it's the internet and it's a geek-based thing. Of course they are.
Right.
A Time Lord can't be a woman or
Why
black.
the fuck?
Bullshit.
Yeah.
I call
look at the
complete and utter
master.
BS on that.
Look at the master. He became the mistress.
And
Don't yell at me. I'm not the one who wrote
No,
the
I'm just
show.
yelling
I
in
don't
general.
care who it is.
I'm just yelling in general. So, like, this stuff is bullshit. Anyway, so